This all started when I got an email from Thad, a Mustang collector in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I opened the email and I clicked on the link and all these pictures popped up. Amazing. And I don't mean just one or two pages, I mean page after page after page. I didn't know how many cars were here. I mean, 100? I don't know. Apparently, about 25 years ago, an auto salvage yard in rural Louisiana had closed and left a large number of old Mustangs in the woods. And when Mustang people in the area found out about the old cars, word spread, people got excited.
So we went back there and looked at them, and I mean, it was thick. All that open field that you saw, all that was just like where those cars were.
Somebody bought the property and they had just started pulling the cars out of the woods. Have you ever seen a telehandler? It's like a great big forklift with an extended reach. 42 feet for this one. Notice how they've chopped off the top of the pine tree. Make it easier to clear the car when they raise it up. And every one of them was an old Mustang, 1965 to 1973. A lot of these old Mustangs appeared to be fastbacks like this red car, but look to the right and on further down. Here's a little closer up picture, and yeah, then look at the front fender shot. That's a GTA badge. This, to me, is like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I doubt if there's this many cars, classic Mustangs in the woods anyplace else, this many. I know the developers had to clear the land to get it ready to sell or do whatever they're going to do with it. I mean, it's a big investment.
At first, I figured they were just regular cars until I got to looking at them and realized it was all older cars, old Mustangs, 57 Chevys, 55 Chevys, pickup trucks, all different types of old vehicles, antiques.
But man, I just wanted to walk through those woods and see those Mustangs. You know, I know they're wrecked, I know they're in bad shape, there's rust and all kinds of missing parts, but just to see them like this, well, it would be like a dreamscape. But not virtual reality. This is pure reality. In fact, I might go so far as to say, hey, you could have kept this section of the woods, fenced it off, and sold tickets to go back in there and look at those Mustangs the way they were. Yeah, might be a little too rich for somebody else, but you got me on a 5 a.m. connection through Dallas-Fort Worth en route to New Orleans. All the while I was thinking of those Mustangs in the woods, and it was kind of half asleep, and I remember Robert Frost, The Road Not Taken. I had to look it up online, but it's about two roads diverging in yellow wood and how he took the one less traveled, which kind of describes my life. Freelance writer, yeah, that's the road less traveled, and I wanted to travel this road. And then it also reminded me of Robert Frost's stopping by woods on a snowy evening. Remember the famous words, the woods are lovely, dark and deep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, they're lovely, dark and deep, and then if you're a Mustang enthusiast, you got the Mustangs all around you. You know, you got the woods, and you're back, you're Robert Frost, and then you have the Mustangs there. I don't know. There's just something about it. And I know they're in bad condition, but with the pine needles on them and joined with nature, they just have a certain, well, they just look even more nostalgic. In fact, it's almost like I've made a trip back in time to the past.
We decided to take all the cars out instead of crushing them and give the public and different people a shot at getting them, you know, through the auction to get all the old parts and stuff that they're missing off their antiques.
Turns out Al Suggs Jr. is a car guy, not just a land developer.
No, I got a Shelby up in here, a GT500. '68 GT500 KR.
We started at Thad's collection in Baton Rouge and then drove out to Walker to Highway 190 Auto Salvage. Hal had already pulled 16 Mustangs out of the woods, but when he heard we were coming, he said, "I'll stop and do some other things and wait on you guys so we could get our pictures." Hal was really surprised at the responses he got when he stacked the cars in front of the old salvage yard along Highway 190.
I've had older people come out, you know, older men and older women, and just sit there and look at them old cars and want to cry, you know, remembering the old times that they've had in them and stuff like that, that they just don't see them anymore. And it's pretty touching deal, you know. This landscaping guy come by and he had a portfolio, and he showed me that portfolio, and he would like take the car and stick it down into the ground, so the car kind of looked like a little lowrider, you know, down into the ground. And then you look, it's got big vines and beautiful flowers coming out the engine compartment, the doors, and it's pretty wild.
Joe Hebert came out to show us around the salvage yard.
I've met the owner several times. He was very particular on who he let back here, so you had to almost know him. I've only been back here once when it was in operation, and it was very nice to see. These cars have been off the road since '78, '79. They were going through the insurance auction, and they never were sold, so the owner kept them and moved them out here.
Remember the photo of this poppy red fastback in the woods? It's a 6-cylinder. Engine still under the hood. There's the T-code in the VIN on the fender apron. What is this little fastback here?
Mach 1, M code, Cleveland 4-barrel, Mach 1, 72. Not much left of it, I'm afraid, though.
What about this fastback here?
351 Cleveland 2-barrel. Fastback, not a Mach. Torino Cobra Jet. Unfortunately, it was a fastback someone made into a convertible. It's a Cobra Jet 4-speed, 4-barrel, automatic, with special paint. I'm thinking it's a Lincoln color. Someone had special ordered. Somebody robbed the air cleaner and the carburetor off of it.
That's Cobra Jet engine, huh?
That did have the Cobra Jet air cleaner last time I saw it, and it did have the correct 4300D carburetor.
This Grande, a 70 model, came with a factory vinyl roof, so it really held in the moisture, and look how that top rusted out. Look at this badly wrecked 65 or 6 model.
This one's a 289 A-code car. Was pretty much complete, but as you can see now, was a disc brakes, might have been a GT car. Looks to have a big sway bar on it, but oh, it is a GT. GT stripe.
Oh, you're right. Cool that down a little bit there.
Right, we have a little C code 67 coupe, Grecian gold. Have a little 289. Have my weight.
Al's headed out to pluck another Mustang out of the woods.
All right, we have a little 67 289 3-speed coupe, hit pretty hard. 289. Have a 289 red on red 67 fastback. I got the Marty report on that.
So what engine was in it?
289 2-barrel, bucket seat, fold down. Fortunately, it's folded a little more than it should be. A little 66 bench seat coupe, 6-cylinder. Bench seat still in it. Have a 66 six-cylinder coupe here, pretty much stripped. 65, 64 and a half, I should say. Coupe, 260 or 260, 289. Got the 64 and a half grills. Looks to be a F code 260.
Wow, the original motor's right there.
Original motor. Looks like 3/4 of a 69 coupe. Very little left, I'm afraid.
Do we know what the engine was or anything?
V8 or Big 6, I'm assuming.
We don't have a trim tag, do we?
Yes, sir, it does. It's underneath. It is a L250 six-cylinder car. Or was.
What?
We have a bunch of NOS sheet metal over here.
Tedious work, but past the sheet metal. Did you see that car in the far right?
65, 66 red primer quarter panels. Looks like a Fairlane, 66 Fairlane quarter panel, Galaxy.
Good stuff, but...
Over there.
Well, there's another car back there.
I think this is a big block Chevelle.
When you least expect it.
'71, but I have been told it is a big block.
Back here, 5 more cars, 4.
Yes, sir.
Tell me about the front one here.
This one's a Grande, 71, 72. Air conditioning, H code, 351 Cleveland, disc brakes, power steering, fairly loaded car. 73 Grande, 351 Cleveland. Fairly decent 70, well, was. '67 289 car, drum brake.
Tag still on it?
Possibly. C code.
Headed for the woods now to see what we can see. Find what we can find. Looking for a treasure. We might have one here on the right. Looks like somebody cut a cougar out of the herd.
That's the 68 Hertz XR7 gurney.
The XR7G is basically a Shelby Cougar. They were built by Shelby American on the same assembly line as the Shelby Mustang. And like the Shelby Mustang, the XR7G was loaded with tons of custom features you couldn't get on a regular production Mustang or Cougar from Ford. There were only 619 of these ever built. Brian Carpenter of Battle Creek, Michigan restored this Cardinal Red 68 Cougar XR7G. Thanks, Brian, for letting me photograph this for Muscle Car Review in 2017. I don't know, this example is probably too far gone, but just maybe somebody could bring it back to life. I don't know.
Yes, sir. This place has been around for 60, 70 years. It was the place basically for the whole parish to bring vehicles, and they were in operation up until 1991, 92. They shut it down and basically everything remained here. And they've had several specialty cars, a lot of hot rods, but a lot of the Mustangs were brought out here in 91. Some of them are kind of special. All right, we have a 71 Mach 1 here. Hit hard in the front, disc brakes, 351 Cleveland 2-barrel, AC power steering, disc brakes, Ivy Gold interior. Comes with its own tree.
Joe is going to describe the rest of the Mustangs in the woods, so join us for part 2.